Is anyone else bored of Manchester United being awful? No, I'm kidding. Obviously, we're not. It's hilarious. But what I will say is, I feel like many, many millions of Manchester United fans and also non Manchester United fans will see what's going on and just think, how hard can it be? How hard can it be for a team as big as Manchester United with the amount of money they've spent and the players they've got? How hard can it be to produce a couple of wins in a row? Bless that poor guy who isn't cutting his hair until they win 5 games in a row, because seemingly he will probably never cut his hair again. So, in today's video, I'm going to put together my Manchester United lineup, my tactics that I would go with, purely because I'm just kind of interested in what I can do. First things first. Okay, Amorim, he's had almost an entire year now. We're coming up to a full year. His stats are shocking, genuinely shocking, and he's close to being sacked. The loss against Grimsby last night could and probably should be the final straw. For me, he would be gone after that, but obviously Manchester United have backed him, big summer spending, over 200 million on a new front three, and I'm about to gut it all because I just don't think the system that Amorim plays works. The 3-4-3 is a fantastic formation. We've seen managers in the past do so well with that. Conte, for example, I remember when he came to England and was managing Chelsea, he got the 3-4-3 working perfectly. It worked so well. And of course, Amorim did it at Sporting, his previous club, but he's come into Manchester United in the Premier League and the 3-4-3 hasn't worked. So I'm ditching it. Come with me on this journey, okay? So we're just going to split the players around because obviously we have a lot of players that can effectively play for Manchester United's first team. I'm just going to get rid of Malacia. I like Dorgu. I'm just going to kind of move things around, so just bear with me for now, guys. We've got Luke Shaw, we've got Onana, we've basically got 2 rubbish goalkeepers. Dalot, Heaven from Arsenal, of course, Mazraoui, another centre-back. I'm going to move some other players that I wouldn't necessarily play in the first team straight away. And I'm sorry that it's a bit of a mess. Some of these are great young players, by the way. Mount. I need to move it out of the centre so we can actually see what's going on here. I like Mainu a lot. Højlund's probably going to go out on loan, so I'll just put him here for now. Cunha, brand new. Xerxes, Ahmad. Garnacho's probably going, so I'll just put him over here now. And Buemo's obviously just come in. Anthony's probably going to be going. Sesko's come in. Chido, ex-Arsenal as well. Sancho's probably going to leave. Okay, I think that's it. And again, apologies for the horrible mess. Let's just go ahead and delete some of these players that I wouldn't personally keep, I would sell, I would get rid of, or I would just simply not play in the first team, let alone get on the bench. So, Malacia, gone. A couple of these youngsters, I know a couple of them. Amas, I think that's this one. Just loan them out, but they're obviously not going to be involved yet. Garnacho, I would sell. Højlund, yeah, between him and Xerxes, isn't it really? Who's going to be the backup striker? And now they've got Cunha as well, who could play as a striker, and Buemo can play as a striker. Højlund, I would keep, but if not, obviously loan him out. Dorgu, bench player. Sancho, sell. Anthony, sell. Heaton, obviously, who cares? So that kind of leaves us here with the main squad. Okay. First of all, shall we pick the goalkeeper? And then we're going to talk about the formation. I'm going to start with the goalkeeper because it's such a horrific position for Manchester United. Both Bayindir and Onana are simply not good enough. Onana, I would sell, but obviously, I'm not going to be bringing in any players, any signings in this video. So for now, with what they've got, I would go with Bayindir in goal. Personally, I think he's got less weaknesses than Onana, but it's crazy because Onana just 3-4 seasons ago, or back when he was at Ajax, obviously at Inter, he was actually one of the better goalkeepers in Europe. It's frightening what's happened to him. And Manchester United seem to just kill players. It just happens. But I'd go with Bayindir. And I said I'd mention the formation. The 3-4-3 isn't working. It could work and it can work, but it's not. So just stop. Just stop doing it. It's so clearly not working for Amorim right now. I don't know why he's absolutely obsessed with it. He's bought players that, in my opinion, don't necessarily fit a 3-4-3. Cunha and Buemo, you kind of want to play him as a second striker or a right winger that can get inside, and he's effectively playing as a right winger in the 3-4-3, but he's drifting into that cam role, or he's going up front. It just Cunha, is he a striker? Is he a cam? Is he a left winger? What's the idea there? And then, of course, Sesko comes in as a true number 9. So it's all over the place. Bruno's not getting in his best position, and he's their best player. The 3-4-3 has to go. So I would go with Dalot at right back. I think it's between him and Mazraoui, of course. Actually, maybe I'd go with Mazraoui. I think Dalot's got so many errors in his game. I think what Dalot does have, though, is that versatility. He's a great player to have. You could play him on the left side, potentially, as well. I'm just going to go with him for now. Oh, I don't want to move the pitch. Let me move Mazraoui onto the bench. Great signing. I'm quite impressed with Mazraoui from the first season he had. Maguire, I would also put on the bench. Martinez is always injured, but I think I would probably play him and Euro as my centre-back partnership. But De Ligt, realistically, should be playing. I'd argue he's been their best player this season so far. So for now, just because Martinez is so inconsistent with his fitness, I'd be going with De Ligt. But Martinez, for me, is probably my go-to. Heaven on the bench, ex-Arsenal, like I mentioned, same as Chido. We'll talk about him later. Luke Shaw would be on that left side for me. So I'd be going with a 4 at the back formation. I just don't see why he won't try it for a game or two. He's clearly so incessant on this 3-4-3 that it's actually detrimental to the team. I don't think the players are buying into it. So, yeah, I'm just... It's crazy to me. Casemiro, bench. I'd sell, personally. I know he's kind of had a bit of a redemption arc. He had such a terrible year and then a relatively good season last year. Well, did any United players have a good season? But he simply shouldn't be starting at this point in his career. For me, he's like a one game every 2 or 3 matches. You play him, okay? And maybe not even 90 minutes. So for me, my midfield would be Mainu and Ugarte. I'd put Mason Mount on the bench. This is a strong bench, by the way. I've got to give a quick shout out to Maguire because I think Maguire is actually very good. He's not as good as Euro and De Ligt could be. Let me just drop these guys a little bit deeper because I would want them playing in a defensive partnership. I'm not sold on Ugarte. I really don't think he's anything near the price they paid for him. But I reckon in a partnership and in some consistent games with Mainu potentially, I think that could work really nicely. And then Bruno, put him in his best position. Behind the strikers, I think that's exactly where he should play. And I think it's absolutely mind-blowing that they're basically making him play as a central midfielder next to Casemiro in this 3-4-3. It's absurd to me. It really is. So Chido would be on the bench. Højlund, obviously, if he goes, then Chido's going to be the main striker to come off the bench potentially. But I do just want to say, I know he left Arsenal thinking he would have a better chance of breaking through if he was at Manchester United as opposed to Arsenal. He was also chasing the bag. There's no denying it. Arsenal were not willing to go anywhere near the offer that Manchester United offered. He's made a massive mistake. He has. I imagine he's already thinking, oh my God, what did I do? Sure, he's earning a lot more money, but he would actually be at a proper football club if he stayed at Arsenal. Xerxes, not good enough. Nice techie player sometimes, but he's behind me there. He's just going to be on the bench. I'll tell you what, I'll move him. Højlund would go. All right, so Højlund's gone. Delete. Xerxes would be the main striker to come off the bench. So this leaves 3 positions, but 4 players. And you've got some fantastic options here, okay? The way I see it, the worst of the 3 is Sesko right now, because of course he hasn't done anything. He had a terrible game against Grimsby, but he just hasn't had enough time. And if I was going into this job right now, Ahmad would probably be the player that I would take out. Just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to move Chido out and then put Ahmad up there. So that's like the main bench. And then I would go like this. I would have absolutely Sesko for that kind of money. You start. As soon as he gets his first goal, it's going to help. And I would go with something like this. Now, what I will say is, okay, it's a 4-2-3-1 or it's a 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it. Cunha is not, for me, a left winger, but I just don't know how else to make this work for them. You could play him ahead of Sesko up front. You could play him ahead of Bruno at cam, but this is where I say that whilst this system I'm picking here might be better, it doesn't get their recent signings all in their best positions either. I was going to say Arsenal. Manchester United really haven't recruited in the most efficient manner because no matter what, they just don't have that killer left winger. And that's a big problem. It really is. Do you play Ahmad on the left? Do you bring Sancho in if he doesn't sell? How has Sancho not worked out? He was so good at Dortmund. It doesn't really make sense to me. Do you do what I've done here and just have Cunha kind of drifting? Basically, it would end up like this. So you'd have space for Luke Shaw to bomb forward. It's frightening, isn't it? It is actually frightening. You look at this squad right here. Tell me this isn't a good team. This is absolutely capable of winning plenty of Premier League games. It's better defensively. It's better going forward. It's not perfect. Of course it's not. But what you can do is during the match, it can be very modular. When you're out of possession, you set up like this, and maybe Bruno tucks down a little bit and Cunha steps into the middle. But what you can do as well is when you get on the attack, you can have Cunha step inside, Bruno step inside, Sesko can peel out left, and Mbeumo gets all of this space up here. Yeah, again, it's not perfect, and maybe you guys disagree, and that's totally fine. But at least it just gets you out of this 3-4-3. I just don't get the obsession. So, with a week or so left of the transfer window, new goalkeeper 100%, and they do still need a left-sided player, in my opinion. But if they go into the new season with the squad as it is, this, I think, is the answer. A bit of a random video. I just fancy doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm about to start up a stream now. So, yeah, I'm going to be playing some Arsenal career mode. But I'm tempted to do a Manchester United career mode with this team. So if you're interested in a stream where maybe I do a season with this squad, then let me know. But Manchester United losing to Grimsby, probably very close to sacking Amorim, despite the window's not even closed yet. It's not even September and they're already out of a competition. It's absolutely mind-blowing, but this is how I would react to it. This is what I would do. I would love to know your thoughts, especially if you're a Manchester United fan.